seizure. But investigators have not established what killed the 27-year-old entertainer. So we go now to our human behavior expert. Our expert here, Dr. Wendy Walsh. Wendy, thanks for joining us. Toxicology test results are not in, but can going cold turkey, this is the first time I've heard that, and I'm sure it can possibly happen, but can going cold turkey kill a person?
Absolutely, especially with alcohol, depending on the level of consumption and your body weight and how long it's been going on. Remember, alcohol is a depressant. So if you suddenly take that depressant away, everything else becomes hyper. Your blood pressure can go up, your heart rate can increase, you can have seizures. I use the example of, you know, it's easy to get addicted to chapstick, right? As soon as you stop chapstick, your lips hurt so much and peel so much because you're not able to make the moisture anymore. However, this woman has been in rehab a number of times and detoxed in other ways, so we're still not clear whether she suddenly went some kind of cold turkey on her own, because it appears that she has experienced withdrawal symptoms before in a facility. So we'll wait to hear.
Yeah, most people don't think about it, you know, alcohol. They think about harder drugs because, you know, you have to go through a process, but you have to do it as well with alcohol. Let's move on now and talk about this. A new study of TV shows popular with 9 to 11-year-olds found the programs prioritize fame above all values. Should we be worried by what this study found, Wendy?
We should absolutely be worried, Don, but we have to think this is also kind of the proliferation of the global media and instant media, whether we're iReporters or YouTubing, that all of a sudden being known is more important to kids, and this study showed, than community service or altruism or helping each other out, which were different values just 10, 12 years ago. So with all the reality TV, all the YouTube stars in these kids' lives, being famous seems to be content for all these sitcoms. I see it in Disney shows with, you know, iCarly, where they have their own show and internet show. So, yeah.
Yeah, and with all these reality shows, and you see the wealthy girls just on the shows, on their cell phone, shopping all the time, and they're famous. I think that sort of adds to it as well, right?
It's frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Let's move on now and talk about this. An Arkansas valedictorian is suing her school district, Wendy, because the superintendent named another girl as co-valedictorian. Her name is Kim Wimberly, seen here at her graduation, says the district didn't want her to be the sole valedictorian because she's black and a mother, even though she had the highest GPA. She's black and a mother, she had the highest GPA, and she's saying they didn't want her to be the valedictorian. The district says the co-valedictorian had a half credit more, and the difference in GPA is like 0.03 of a point. Okay, so what's your take on this? It's who has the highest point? Does she have a point here?
Well, again, we're looking at lots of magic math by the school district here, but they did announce her as the sole valedictorian, and then when it became known she was African-American and a teen mom, I mean, I think they should have exalted her to saint status at that point, but instead they kind of wanted her to share the pedestal. So, but the important thing about her suit is that it doesn't just say she was discriminated against. She talks about a culture at the school, because the thing about racism is, you know, there are individual overt acts of racism that are tragic, but there's also this sort of more subtle culture of racism. This school was 46% African-American, but black kids were not encouraged, according to her suit, to take the AP classes.
All right, Dr. Wendy, thank you. We have to run now. Appreciate it, though. The wealth gap between whites and minorities has tripled over the past few years thanks to the recession, and it could get even worse if the debt crisis in Washington is not resolved. Mark Muriel, the head of the